Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy Alex, and welcome to the Rodeo. We're back at it again. I have a very special guest in the building, the one, the only, Will Hawthorn. How you doing?
Good, man. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Hey, man, this is your first podcast?
Yes, sir. First one.
Shit, bro. How's that feel?
It's pretty cool, man. I didn't expect it to happen this quickly, at least.
Yeah.
Like, doing something cool like this. Very new, but I'm excited, man. No, we pulled up, and we see, like, two different buildings. I'm like, am I about to walk into some, like, office building, and then there's just people in here? Like, who are you? And I'm like, hi.
For sure. Now, but you were telling me that you're barely getting your feet wet in the music game.
Right.
You know, first EP came out.
Right.
Networking with people. You're about to drop a track, right?
Right, yes.
Correct.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about you, and then we'll get into the music, and we'll talk about what you got moving forward.
For sure.
So where are you from?
I'm from Frisco, Texas. I was actually born in Plano, but literally moved to Frisco like when I was 1 year old, and I've just been there for like my whole life pretty much. So.
And how's life in Frisco been for you?
It's been pretty good. It's basically all I've known. I've met some of my closest friends in Frisco. It's weird that like whole area, that town, like it's more than just like a town. It's like my whole life. Like you're driving down the streets and you just see like years and years of memories. Damn. So a lot of my songs are inspired from things that happened there. Mm-hmm. So it's just like a very special place to me.
Dope. And how were you as a kid growing up?
I had a pretty good childhood, pretty basic. Mm-hmm. Lived in a nice house, 2 parents, only child. Mm-hmm. Went to school. Nice. Dealt with some things that, every kid deals with. But for the most part, I had a pretty good childhood. I couldn't complain about it.
Nothing too crazy?
Nothing too crazy, no. Very mellow,
I
would say.
And then we'll get into the music. How did that come about? Like, is there any musicians in your family, or you just said, I love music, or how did that come about?
Yeah, I was always a very musical kid growing up. Mm-hmm. Like, when I look back on it, I didn't have a period in my life where I wasn't fascinated with music. Like, as a little kid, like that show Big Time Rush came out when I was a little kid. That really got me into it. Also shows like Victorious I watched a lot, where it's like music was a very heavily influenced, and I was just a very musical kid. I'd always be like singing whenever I was just like walking around or something. And as I got older, I started to realize like this is also something I could do myself. And I just kind of it started off with like writing words in Google Docs. Mm-hmm. I realized it was kind of like a therapy for me. Like whenever I'd be dealing with something, being stressed out, I would go on a Google Doc, I'd type how I was feeling, find ways to make it catchy, find ways to make it rhyme. And that's how my making music really started for me.
Oh, shit. So going in there, pretty much building the songs, and then, you started actually, going to a studio or stuff like that? Or how did that come about?
Right. So basically how it's like the actual like production and everything started was I got like, it started off as just writing lyrics, writing words. And what I would do is I would find like ways to make them sound good. Like I'd start singing them, find a flow for it. Mm-hmm. And eventually I decided I want to start recording these at least. So I got a Blue Yeti microphone, and I installed it into like this setup I have. It was like 2 monitors, and I installed a Blue Yeti microphone. I started working on like how to really amplify my voice, and I just started singing those lyrics, seeing how they could come to fruition. And that's how that really kicked off.
That's dope. Taking the initiative is one thing, because like, lots of people are like, I'll make some music, this and that, but never really do anything with it.
Right.
So that's good that you actually put in, time, money, and took the initiative to make the music. So that's dope. Right. That's dope to hear. Who would you say were your musical inspirations growing up?
My musical inspirations growing up, as a kid, I really liked. Believe it or not, as like a little kid, like a little tyke, I liked Justin Bieber a lot. Like Bieber. Everyone laughed at me for it. I didn't really care though. I liked some of his music. But as I got older and as I started actually making music, some of my biggest musical inspirations, I'd say Dominic Fike. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
No.
Yeah, he's recently kind of gotten really, he actually just collabed with Justin Bieber.
Damn.
But in the past like 2 years, he's done a lot of big stuff. Omar Apollo, those have been some pretty big inspirations. Tame Impala. The Wallows, all those people have been. Also other artists like Lil Peep, some more mainstream, Juice WRLD. I've always kind of taken some stuff from them. Machine Gun Kelly, that's been another big one, especially since he started making like pop punk, alternative rock music.
He's bringing rock back. It seems like it.
Right,
for sure.
You
know, lots of people they talked about how rock is dying, this and that. He said, "Nah, man.
Right.
I'm bringing this whole back."
He's pulled other artists into it too, like Ian Dior. It's crazy, man.
That's dope. How did your friends and family take it whenever you started making music? You know,
my friends were really supportive. My mom and dad, they're not supportive. They just really don't get it. They're just kind of like, I mean, do what you want to do. But my friends have been super supportive. I remember when I dropped, because this is my debut EP, but it's not the first one I've ever dropped under my name. I dropped one about 2 years ago, I'd say. It was called Keep Your Distance. And looking back on it now, it was like terrible. Like it sucked. But
you got to start somewhere.
Right. But like I remember when I first released it, all my friends were saying, "Oh man, this is really good." And I'm like, "Y'all didn't have to lie to me like that, man."
Hey, don't do me like that.
Right.
No, that's good. Because having a good support system is always great to keep going with your dreams. Sometimes whenever even with me, whenever I started this, at times I was like, man, this is stressful. This is really stressful.
So for sure.
A support system that tells you, like, you know, what you're doing is working. And sometimes you kind of don't even look back on how much you've gone forward, you know?
Oh, right.
In the sense that, you know, you don't enjoy the moment, but then you start thinking about like, you know, like you said, the project that you had before, the growth that you see now compared to it. So it's pretty dope.
A lot of people, they just see the end result. They see from one project to another and how it got better. And that's like what I think a lot of musicians, they fall off because of that. You see the beginning result, then the end result, you compare them. It's like, man, he grew a lot. But what they don't see is the months, sometimes years in between those two, where it was like staying up till 3 a.m., recording, being disappointed with it. That's a big one and has a really big mental wear on you as an artist, at least, because you're super critical of your music. And when you're in the process of making it, you want it to be perfect. And when you don't think it's perfect, it's like heavily mentally weighs on you. And that brings a lot of anxiety when it comes to actually releasing it. Because you're still like, I don't know if people are going to like this, because I still have things I find wrong with it. But at a point, you got to release it and just put it out there. Take that leap of faith. That's what I say.
You got to, because, you know, you're going to hesitate yourself the whole time and not even drop anything.
Right.
Have you dealt with any criticism or hate towards your music?
Honestly, I wouldn't.
And how do you take it? Sorry to interrupt, but
no, you're all good.
And how do you take it?
I wouldn't say I've dealt with too much hate, solely because my music at the moment right now isn't big enough to where it would get that mass attention like that. But I mean, I've had people like I've showed it to people and they've been like, they don't really like vibe with it or whatever. And honestly, I just kind of take it with a grain of salt, because I feel like that's not going to get any better the bigger you get and the more successful you get. So if you're already having a rough time with it now, it's not getting any easier. And because one thing I've seen with like big artists, they'll talk about how they can get like millions and millions of good comments, people screaming their name saying they love them, but the ones they see are like the side group of people that don't like it, and those have a bigger impact on you than the millions of people saying they love it. So I just take it with a grain of salt, take it to the chin. The people that really matter are the ones that are going to be in your corner, and just block it out.
Exactly. And that's so true. I feel like that's just human nature of us. Just like, you know, okay, everybody likes it, this and that. But then that one person is like, it's all right.
Oh, right.
You're like, what? Wait, why? Why is this?
And here's another thing. There's never going to be anyone who's a bigger critic of my music than myself. So they can say whatever they want. I'm still going to be my biggest hater, at least. And that's not.
I already knew that. I'm working on that.
Right, exactly. And that doesn't have to necessarily be a negative thing, though. Being your biggest critic, because at the end of the day, you want it to be perfect. Because if you're just putting music out there just to put music out there, you're going to end up releasing like half-assed projects, unfinished projects, things that aren't your best work. And that's why I meant to have a track ready here today. But I didn't feel like it was ready. I didn't like where it was at the moment. I feel like it can be something great if I keep working on it, but I don't want to put something out there just to put something out there.
Exactly.
I want it to make sure it's an actual reflection of my passion for what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But
and that's so true, because even the greats do that. You know, you hear that Kanye, he submitted the album and then he still made some changes after the album came out.
Right.
You know, Drake, the album didn't come out in time because he had submitted something before, like literally before dropping the album. So, you know, it has to process through the whole Apple system and stuff like that.
Right.
So even the top artists out here are still doing that.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, you know, you can't, like you said, you can't half-ass it.
Exactly.
People are gonna hear it.
Exactly.
People are gonna hear it. They're gonna see that your intentions aren't there fully, so they're not gonna support it.
Exactly.
Why am I gonna take you serious if you don't even take yourself serious?
Exactly. If I'm gonna put a project out there that's like probably, at least how I make my music, it's gonna put a very vulnerable version of myself out there, because in all my music I'm talking about things that like would be difficult to talk about otherwise, or not very easy to vocalize unless it was in a song. So if I'm gonna put a very vulnerable version of myself out there, I'm gonna make damn sure it's perfect, 100% accurate reflection of my passion, the work I've put into it, and I'm just gonna make extra sure that it's just great in every way it can be.
Exactly. What keeps you motivated, especially as a new artist? You know, it's hard to get unmotivated from, you know, whether it be everything external or internal. What really keeps you motivated? Honestly,
you're right. There are episodes where you go through burnout phases and you're like, man, is this worth it? But the main thing that keeps me motivated is the end goal of why I want to do it. And that's kind of like a common answer a lot of people give, but it really speaks true to me. Why I want to do it is because it's been something I've loved doing for a long time, even before I was making it. I love music. I love the creation process of it. I love hearing other people's music. And I just think it's just something really great that a lot of people should, I think everyone should like at least write one song in their life, because I feel like it speaks volumes to yourself in a way, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
For example, if I'm going through like an extremely rough time, always the first thing I'll turn to is, how can I put this on a piece of paper? Because I can always come back and look to it later in life when I've, you know, progressed through that. I can always come back and look to it and remember how I was feeling throughout that time. It's like a diary almost. And that's my motivation, knowing that it's always going to be here. It's one thing that's not going to leave. And knowing just I've had it throughout my whole life. And it's been one of the few things that's been consistent throughout my whole life.
I like that answer, because at the end of the day, music, you know, it speaks to everybody. You know, even somebody who maybe doesn't know the language, they could hear either the pain or the joy in the music. You know, it's global, so that's something that forever could stay with you for sure.
Right, and that's like one thing why I love instruments in music so much, because sometimes I feel like a good guitar riff, a good bass line, or a good heavy drum solo, something like that, could have more of an emotional impact than a certain like verse ever could. Depending on just like what you're going through, what was behind the motivation behind that riff, solo, whatever.
That's dope. What I like to do also here on the podcast is showcase some of the music from the artists.
For sure.
So what's the first song that you want to present for the people?
Hey guys, I'm Will Hawthorn, and you're about to hear one of my tracks on my debut EP, Fake Love.
Somebody call a mayday. Got me running around in circles, it's no parade. Got me jumping over hurdles like a track race. I let you hurt me the worst when I make mistakes. I make mistakes, I won't go away. I just stare and let you work, cause on a good day I might get a couple words to show you love me. I ignore all of the signs to show you're two-faced. Yeah, you're two-faced. I don't show, you make me miserable. It seems impossible that you could fake love, fake love. I don't show, you make me miserable. It seems impossible that you could fake love, fake love. Yeah, so baby, turn the bass up. You can listen to this while you put on makeup. I've been noticing all the lies that you make up. It's just hard to understand that you could fake love, fake love. Yeah, so baby, turn the bass up. I've been drowning underwater from the waist up. I hope this song will be the reason that you stay up, cause I still can't believe the way that you could fake love, fake love. Whoa, whoa, baby, like whoa, fake love, fake love. Whoa, whoa, baby, like whoa, fake love, fake love. Yeah, so I've been on some bad days, they've had some bad traits. None of it worked out, but I still dropped crypto on the valet. You could say I'm maddening, but that ain't happening. Cause just because I'm happy doesn't mean you can't have bad days. So will you do with that hate? Or you can't say, well here's my advice, I think that you should walk on that way. Cause oh no, I won't have it. Yeah, you've been bad shit, but you're the only one that makes me feel like I still matter. I don't show, you make me miserable. It seems impossible that you could fake love, fake love. I don't show, you make me miserable. It seems impossible that you could fake love, fake love. Yeah, so baby, turn the bass up. You can listen to this while you put on makeup. I've been noticing all the lies that you make up. It's just hard to understand that you could fake love, fake love. Yeah, so baby, turn the bass up. I've been drowning underwater from the waist up. I hope this song will be the reason that you stay up. Cause I still can't believe the way that you could fake love, fake love. Whoa, 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 baby, like whoa, fake love, fake love. Whoa, whoa, baby, like whoa, fake love, fake love.
I will. So that was Fake Love.
Yes, sir.
Man, how did that one come about? Talk to me about that track.
Basically, that track's mainly about my last relationship, my longest one I've had to this date. It was 1.5 years. And basically throughout the whole time, it's a pretty straightforward song. The whole time I felt like the love was fake. Just like never really feeling secure in it. Never really feeling like this is something that she actually cares about.
Wow.
And just overthinking the whole thing. And that's where like the lyrics, I don't show, you make me miserable, came from. The whole time I was just stressed out, miserable, like overthinking everything because I was never provided the proper reassurance that I feel like should be in a relationship. So that's where that song kind of really roots from.
Got you. And we were talking while the song was playing how, you know, you're making the type of music that, you know, lots of people could relate to it.
Right.
You know, there's people that talk about, I got millions in the bank, I have a Bugatti, whatever. Right. Good for you, but I ain't got no Bugatti, bro.
right.
But you know, this love is such a universal term that, you know, people can relate to it.
Right.
And people go back to the track and be like, man, I felt that same way from my last relationship.
For sure, yeah.
So do you think about this whenever you make your music in the sense that, you know, you want to make it relatable, or do you just go in there and it just comes out like this?
Right. Well, I do to an extent want to make it relatable to everyone because that's why in a lot of my music, I tend to stray away from things that only I could understand.
Yeah.
Because if someone's listening to it, it won't really make a whole lot of sense to them unless unless I'm the one listening to it, because it's stuff that personally happened to me. So I try to take things like my experiences, my emotions, and put it in a way where it still has personal meaning to me, but anyone can listen to it and understand it. Yeah. And that's why I feel like I did a good job of that one in this track. Stressed Out is one of the songs where I feel like it's more personal to me, but at the same time, I feel like I did an okay job at least of making it universally relatable.
Got you. And you know, universal tracks are gonna bring you either, you know, a lot of money, a lot of fame for sure, because people relate to it so much, you know. And you know, you talked about Justin Bieber's still going strong out here, bro.
Right. His new album, I actually really like. Yeah. Like, I know it's like kind of like a stereotype. Oh, you like Justin Bieber, but his new album, I really like. You enjoyed it. Very good, yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking off camera. You know, good music's good music. It doesn't matter. You know, sometimes that's not the type of music I listen to. This is not, you know, the artist that I listen to, this and that. But good music is good music. So, you know, if you're just saying that you don't like it just because of a certain thing, bro, you're just a hater from there. Right. So that's good to hear that, you know, you get good inspirations from overall great artists, universal songs. What was your favorite track to make from the EP?
My favorite track, I'd say, was the first track on the EP, Take the Wheel.
Take the Wheel.
Because I feel like that, at least the phrase, the name of the track has the most personal meaning to me, I'd say. And also, on a more lighter note, I just think it's a super catchy song. I feel like if you hear it once, it's kind of like a get stuck in your head type thing. So I really enjoyed making that one.
Shit, dope. Over here, certified lover boy. This is the real certified lover boy over here, man. From
Drake.
No, but that's dope, man. You know, keep going with the music, because we're talking about the EP that you dropped a while back. You see the growth. So imagine what you're gonna be at 3 to 5 years from now.
Right.
You know, from more connections, from more experiences, more productions, you know, vocals and stuff like that. That's gonna be crazy to think about.
Right.
You're young right now, 19, right?
Yes, sir.
That's crazy, bro. Like, imagine whenever you're my age, 25,
right,
how much you have advanced as an artist.
Right, yeah. It is pretty, I appreciate that. It is pretty crazy to think about, because I have had people tell me, like I was telling you, I dropped an EP about 2 years ago. It was called Keep Your Distance. Very low quality production. It was like very kind of like almost like SoundCloud quality. I'm not saying you can't find good things on SoundCloud, but like that phrase, it's just like very low quality production. You listen to it, it didn't really sound professionally produced. And then like 2 years, year and a half later, I come up with this, and I have had people tell me where it's like it's like night and day. Mm-hmm. And it is pretty crazy, because I'll go back and listen to it and compare the two, and it's like, damn, I guess I really did come a long way. Yeah. So it is pretty crazy to think about where I could potentially be as long as I keep up with this, which I don't see myself stopping anytime soon in like 3, 4, 5 years.
Dope. What's your goal with the project, with the EP that you just dropped? Are some music videos coming? Is it performances? What's the main goal with the project?
My main goal for the project is I do want to drop a music video for Take the Wheel. I really couldn't tell you when that would happen.
It's coming soon, though.
Hopefully, coming soon.
Just wait on that for sure.
Yeah, I know if I'm going to do it, I know some people I definitely would talk to about it, see if I could set something up with them, because that's like the Take the Wheel is almost like the staple track of the whole project. EP, because it's the first one, and it's there for a reason. It's the first one for a reason. So I definitely want to make a music video for that one. I would love to perform live more often, like start getting gigs and everything. And just, I want this EP, the whole point behind it is basically demos of what's to come, because I only have 6 songs released on all platforms right now. So much more time to grow. These are literally just demos to see show everyone what I'm capable of, what I can do, and it's just bigger and better stuff is coming in the future too.
Just setting the foundation for what's to come.
Yeah, exactly.
Got you. That's dope. How has 2021 been for you?
2021's been super good, actually. 2020 was a rough year for everyone. I feel like it took everyone by storm, but 2021 I feel like's been pretty decent. I was at OU for the last part of 2020 up in Oklahoma, but I came back. I reconnected with a bunch of people. I started going to college locally, and just 2021, that's when I really started the production for this EP at the beginning of this year, and it dropped on July 4th. So it's been a very progressive year, very productive year, and I'm proud of how it's went. I started a basically where I'm going with this. I started a path that I can continue on for years, and it'll always be a staple year for me for that.
And these songs from the project, did you already have them written down, or when did you started working on the project?
The earliest I can say I started working on it was about a year ago when I started writing down just rough drafts. Take the Wheel was actually the phrase "Take the Wheel" is what started it, because that phrase "Take the Wheel," it's about control, taking the wheel, and that phrase was the first thing that ever came to mind. Take the wheel, and I just went off that. Eventually wrote a song to that. Eventually started writing drafts to other songs, and it became 6, which is this EP. But yeah, I started really working on it about a year ago, but really producing it and like making it what it is about the beginning of this year. So I'd say about 9 months ago. But
got you. And what's your song making process for you? Is it going from I want to write about this, or is it just like hearing the instruments and then you get inspiration from there, or what's your song making process?
My song, it honestly varies depending on the song. I'll always give credit where credit's due. I had a lot of help from a good friend of mine, Ryan Vetter. Okay. He's the one that really, because what I do is I'll record, I'll do some basic cleaning up on the vocals, I'll write the lyrics obviously and everything, and what I'll do is I'll send him his way, and we'll kind of work together, talk back and forth on how we want it to, because he's incredible with mixing and mastering and really turning a vision into what it is.
Yeah.
He's one that really, this EP would not have become what it's become if it wasn't with his help. He really turned it. I set the foundation, but he really turned it into what it could be. So going back to your question, though, my songwriting process is I'll start drafting some lyrics, see if I can come up with a good hook or a good verse, and if I can build a hook off of that, I will. And then once I feel like I have a good, solid song laid out, which that can take anywhere from 30 minutes if it's really flowing and I hit it perfectly. Like Fake Love, I probably wrote in about 45 minutes. It all just
crazy,
came.
Man.
But you have other songs where it takes weeks to get it right. And after that, once I feel like it's good, I'll start recording everything that needs to be recorded for the song, and then I'll send them to his way, and we'll work back and forth with how we want it to sound, what effects we want to be added, and after that, the whole final finished project will be sent my way.
That's dope. That's crazy. 45 minutes, bro?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yep.
Some songs, like you say, it takes forever for artists to, like, perfect it or, like, you know, draft something out like that in the sense that they enjoy it, because, you know, art, you know, we're our biggest critic at the end of the day. Like you talked about how, you know, that doesn't sound good, or I don't like that one. But 45 minutes, that's crazy to think about a song like that.
Just certain things
And
that just starts hitting and comes back and back, and you just keep going. And next thing you know, you have something that you're completely happy with in such a short period of time.
Got you. Even though you're new here, new in the music, what would you say is like a big accomplishment that you have already that you're just like, damn, I can't believe I did that?
Honestly, getting playlisted was a very big one.
Shoot.
That was Take the Wheel and Fake Love both got playlisted on some like up and coming playlists, and that's why they did so good, at least for my standards. But that was a pretty good accomplishment of mine. When the EP dropped, I had people sending me videos of them like bumping to it in their car. Some people I didn't even know. Like I just had kind of added on social media. And they'd be sending me videos like, "Yo, this is dope. I'm listening to it right now." And it's like, damn.
How does that feel?
Crazy. Hearing like something I worked on for months, like my little baby child that I've worked on so hard. It's like my prized possession, cherished thing, and seeing other people enjoying it so much, they're listening to it, they're singing the lyrics, like it's mind blowing, honestly, and that's a pretty big accomplishment, I'd say.
That's dope, and it just keeps you motivated to keep going and making great music.
Right,
you know?
for sure.
That's dope. People that you don't even know to take the time to send you stuff like that, bro.
Right.
That's crazy, because, you know, we were talking off camera about this too. You know, I had some people come up to me and, "Oh, you do that podcast, this and that."
Yeah.
It's like, bro, it's a good feeling from like all the hard work that you put in.
It makes it all worth it.
Yeah, like the late, you said staying up till 3, making sure the song is good. You know, even before you even drop it, I want to correct this, I want to do this. So.
Getting off work, dead tired, but staying up for like another 3-4 hours just to get it right.
Exactly. That's dope to hear, man. What would you say is the biggest obstacles you faced as a new artist coming up?
Honestly, proving yourself is a pretty big one. Because especially before, I feel like when this EP dropped, a lot of people got more familiar with what I can do.
Yeah.
But before the EP dropped, as you're hyping it up, as you're telling people, "Yo, I'm doing this," if you have nothing released before that, because I deleted all the other old music I had because it just wasn't up to my standards. But if like you have nothing for people to go off of, they're like, okay, like you're
Good
making
luck,
music,
buddy.
cool, like you and like 20 million other people over here. So that's a big one. Really really making yourself stand out. I'd say that's the biggest obstacle, and that's why this EP being right was so important to me. It needed to be perfect because I wanted it to stand. When I dropped this, I wanted people to like, it comes on and they're like, "Oh damn, who's this?" You know, I didn't want it to just be like, you know, another guy making music. When they hear it, I want people to like turn heads and they're like, "Oh man, this guy only has like 40 monthly listeners on Spotify. What's going on?" But,
That's dope to hear though, like how, you know, like you said, all the hard work, it seems like it's paying off.
Right.
Currently, do you have any management or any label talks yet?
No, completely independent. Honestly, I would love, you know, getting signed to a label is like a big dream of mine. So, like I'm sure as any artist would be. Yeah. But as of right now, I release my music independently.
Dope. That was actually gonna be my question too. Like, do you plan to sign to a label, or you know, it seems like there's been a shift now. Like some people are with it, some people aren't. So what's your thoughts on that? Do you plan to sign?
I feel like if I got the opportunity, I definitely would. One thing I did learn about the music industry is labels will sign, like, I heard, like, big record labels like Capitol Records, UMG Records, all them, they'll sign like 200 new artists a year, something like that. But you don't hear about 200 new big up and coming people. You hear about maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3. So I did learn that, like, the music industry, even if you get signed by a label, you don't necessarily make it. They'll sign like you this big, like, multi-million deal. That's a loan. You have to make all that money back in your music before you can even begin to profit off of it.
Oh yeah.
So it definitely would be an obstacle, but still, I feel like I'd want to go the label way because it would be the best way to really get my music out there to people across, like, the globe, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like that's pretty much what the labels bring now. The marketing, the pushing of the artist, playlisting, you know, all that. Because if you look at the playlist, most of those artists are signed.
Right.
You know, and I'm not saying you have to sign, but I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of connections these labels already have for years they've made that, you know, it gets you to a certain level that will be 10 times harder being independent.
Right. And even if you do sign and you realize it's not what you want to do, once your contract's up with that label, people already know your name.
Yeah.
Like, even if a label doesn't work out, but, like, you run with that contract and they market you, people know your name. You can build off that. Staying independent, that's great. If you can do it independently, that's great because you own all the rights to your music at that point. But for me, at least, I just want to sign with a label the second I got an offer because I really just want to find a way to get my music out there.
Yeah. Want to build yourself up, especially now with social media. It seems like you said, once people know you, you become the brand. You become that person that companies reach out to, sponsorships, you know, all that. Social media is going crazy with TikTok, Snap, freaking Instagram. So, like, you have so many avenues now to work with, and then you just got to get that opportunity to be right front and center. So,
for sure.
That's for sure. Who would you say, once you make it to a certain level, who are 3 artists you would love to work with?
3 artists I'd love to work with. I would love to work with Dominic Fike. That would be a big one. I would love to work with Machine Gun Kelly. Would be really fun to collab with. Kind of on one of those, like, Blink 182 type songs. And also, going off Machine Gun Kelly, I would love to work with, like, either Travis Barker or Nothing Nowhere. Those are a few artists I would love to collab with.
Travis, man, he's been doing it for a while, bro. He's a legend for sure.
Before I was even born, he's been doing this stuff, man.
I think he has a Kardashian now, or he has he's with Courtney, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That boy right there living the dream out here, man. He's doing everything in life.
Oh yeah.
Nah, but where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now?
Yeah.
Definitely still making music. I don't know where that'll take me.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I couldn't tell you exactly how this musical journey is gonna go because I don't have it all planned out. But definitely still in one way or another making music. I'll be graduated from college then. Hopefully in 5 years something goes right and I'm already blown up and you know, making it by now. But that's never guaranteed. But definitely still just making music, finding new ways to make music, finding new ways to create. Just keep progressing towards that goal.
Got you. And, you know, we did listen to one of your songs, but let's say somebody wants to know the type of sound that you have. How would you personally describe your sound or the sound that you are going for?
I would say it's definitely, like we talked about earlier, universally relatable songs, but, like, songs that you can bump your head to. Songs that, like, you can put on the stereo system in your car, put on the aux, and, like, just sit there and, like, vibe to it. Because one reason that made me want to make these songs, a lot of them are higher energy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of artists I see, like up and coming ones, it's good. Like, express your way in the way you want to express yourself. You know, like do it however you feel accurately reflects you. But one thing for me is when I see a lot of up and coming artists, they're a lot of it's really sad and mellow, and it's like nothing wrong with that. But like every now and then, it's like give me something I can bump my head to.
Yeah.
Give me something that I can like listen to, be like, oh yeah. Like that hits. And so definitely some more high energy, hopefully catchy, just universally relatable stuff.
Okay. I like that. Man, and I might get some hate for this, but that's kind of how I saw they were doing the Donda and Certified Lover Boy thing.
Right.
Bro, Donda, I tried to do a review on it. Man, I yawned like a good 5 times. Drinking a Red Bull too, bro. And I yawned a good like 5 times within the first 15 tracks.
Right.
Because it's 27 tracks, man.
Right.
That's a lot of tracks. But then you look at how like you said, upbeat and more energy. Drake came with those like, you know, you heard, okay,
right,
okay,
exactly.
Like that kind of got my attention a little bit more. But at the end of the day, it's just like you said, it's expression, however you want to express. But keep in mind, people might, you know, like a certain style and stuff like that. So
for sure.
At the end of the day, it's up to you, but keep that in mind. Don't get mad whenever the masses go one way.
Yeah, something that if it ever came on the radio, you'd be like, oh, dang, what's this? And you'd want to find out who that is. That's what I try to do with my music.
Got you. That's dope. What are your thoughts on the Dallas music scene? You know, what do you like? What do you don't like? What are your thoughts overall?
It's kind of what I said earlier. The Dallas, this is more Frisco specifically from where I'm from, but I guess it can be related to a lot of Dallas, is when I see a lot of up-and-coming artists, people that have been making music only for a little bit, not very long, or just starting. A lot of it, this is going to sound a little mean, but a lot of it's like Lil Peep wannabes almost, like making like sad guitar loops over heavily 808 tracks, and it's like really sad and mellow, and this is at least what I've seen.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, obviously express yourself in the way you want to express yourself. If that's what speaks to you, no hate, but I just see a lot of people doing that, and I feel like it's become very saturated. And I want, like, at least for me, I want something I can bump my head to. I want something I can listen to and be like, this is a vibe. This is a whole vibe. Not something that when I listen to it, I'm going to get sad, you know? But
And I feel like once a certain artist makes it, or a type of artist makes it, you do get a lot of, like, people trying to copy their style and trying to just be like that artist. You know, we saw that a lot with, you know, like you said, Lil Peep. You saw that a lot with Juice WRLD. You saw that a lot with, you know, just big artists in general, that it's a different sound whenever they come out and they make it. So now people are like, oh, okay, that's the formula. That's what I got to do to make it.
Like, and one thing you'll see with these artists is these artists that made it, they were the first one to really do that type of music.
Yep.
Like Lil Peep was the one, he kind of started that whole like 20 vocal layered tracks over, and it's really amplified and it sounds like he's screaming in a hallway. He was really kind of the first one to really start doing that with that kind of emo sound. Juice WRLD, he wasn't necessarily I'd say the first one to do this, but he really kind of started that singing rapping kind of combo almost. And
but whenever you hear it, you're like, oh, that's Juice WRLD,
right? You know, like you know his voice. And they really kind of pioneered those very specific styles. So if you're going to want to make it, don't follow in someone else's footsteps. It's fine to be inspired, but definitely like form your own sound while you're at it. And that's one thing actually that I feel like a lot of new artists struggle with, and a lot of people that don't make music don't really realize. Finding your sound is one of the hardest things to do. Like, and that's why this EP, I tried to be as versatile with it as possible. I wanted multiple different types of sounds on it. But making sure, like, whenever you're making new music, you'll have a certain vibe, and you'll be like, oh, this will be my next track. But then you'll be working on another project, and it'll be completely different. Sound like it's a completely different artist. But you're like, I really like this one too. I don't know which one I want to release. And it's just finding your sound, knowing what songs work for you, and knowing, like, if someone hears your music, they're going to know it's you. That's a very difficult obstacle to overcome, finding your sound and knowing which sound is right for you.
Oh, yeah, especially as a new artist, you know, when it seems like everything you're doing is not working, and then you start copying a little bit about the new artist, and you see some people start to follow you, some people start to bump your music, you're like, I guess this is the mask I'm wearing now. Moving forward, this is the mask I'm going to wear.
Right.
It's tough, but like you said, you know, slow and steady and being true to yourself, that wins the race at the end of the day.
For sure.
You'll stand out more being you and genuine instead of just copying everybody else.
Exactly, man.
Exactly. What would you say is the biggest misconception of you?
Like as an artist or just in general?
You could give me both if you
okay.
like.
Biggest misconception for me, I'd say, is kind of that, like, I have an ego with it. Because I definitely don't. Like I said, I'm my biggest critic. But like when I talk about my music, I want to seem proud of it. I want to seem like it's something I worked hard on. And that can come across as like I'm like bragging about it. But like at the end of the day, no, I am my biggest critic. I will always, when I'm listening to my music, I will always find things that I didn't like about it, something I could have done better on, and that I plan to improve on. But like when I'm in like talking to like publicly about it, I will always want to be proud of it, present myself as it's something I worked hard on. And some people take that as an ego. I take it as pride with your work, but you know.
Got you. I could see that within, you know, like you said, anything that you work on, that you put a lot of time, a lot of effort,
right,
you know, it could come off that way because people, I guess, you know, they don't see it that way in the sense that they don't do that, you know.
Right.
So I could totally agree with that and see that for sure.
Yeah.
What's the other song that you want to showcase for the people?
So it's me, Will. You're about to listen to another track off my EP called Stressed Out.
Stressed out, they got me stressed out. Stressed out, they got me stressed out. Stressed out, is there any way to treat your lady? That's what they told me. I light fire to my bed frame, yeah, they've all got me folding. I've got too much in the headspace, feels like I've been exploding. I just need to take the edge off, someone get me some rolling. I'm a player with no track record, indecisive backbreaker. Let me write my last letter, wish well to what I've created. I think I can get better, dips will be up for the taking. Know you got your issues too, but I don't doubt that you can make it. Stressed out, they got me stressed out. Stressed out, they got me stressed out. Stressed out, I know we've got our differences, but can we put them aside? Let's break it down, let's simple it so we can get on with life. No more taking guesses, I don't know what's inside your mind, but people think they're good enough to know what's inside of mine. I've got my hands on the wheel, you've got my head up on a mantle. You can't take it off whenever you feel you can't handle all this petty talk for questions that no one can answer. Think I've had enough, yeah, no more giving second chances. Make me insecure, I've got no room for bad self-image. I act immature, I do dumb shit cause it's a privilege. I should listen more, I talk a lot, I got no limits. What you looking for, there's nothing here, I think I'm finished. Stressed out, they got me stressed out. Stressed out, they got me stressed out. Stressed out, stressed out, they got me stressed out. Stressed out, they got me stressed out. Stressed out.
All right, man. So that was Stressed Out.
Yes, sir.
And can you tell me about that track? How'd that come about? You know, let me know a little bit about that.
So that song is basically the pressures about being a young adult. As you start to transition from being a teenager, 15, 16, 17, still being considered a kid. And then is when you turn 18, 19, I'm about to turn 20. It's just those pressures of new responsibilities. People view you differently. And it's just the way all that, kind of the chaos of it almost kind of made me feel. Because you'll notice a lot of it, the lyrics are kind of like I'll say one thing, then say a completely different thing in the next bar or the next line, and that's kind of like that was intentional, because like as you start to grow older and become more of an adult, it'll be one thing then a completely different thing. It's kind of chaotic, and I tried to convey that in this song with like the actual structure of the song.
Got you. Damn, that's crazy. You're gonna be 20, no more teens.
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
Yeah. 13 to 19. After all those years, finally about to be out of that. But
hey, man. Enjoy it, bro.
Yeah.
Enjoy the present. You know, don't think too much about the past. Don't stress about the future. Enjoy the present, bro. Let me tell you that, because time flies.
Oh, yeah.
Time flies out here for sure.
It seems like just yesterday I was starting high school, and now I've been out of it for almost 2 years. So
damn. It's crazy to think about. Man, you make some catchy songs for real, though.
Appreciate
it.
Man,
that's like you said, the hook is key because it just sticks with you.
Right.
And you're just like, oh, let me pull up that song again. You know, you want to keep playing it.
Yeah, I wanted it to start like mellow and then come in and just hit you with that, like that stressed out. Like, you know.
That's good, man. What is what is the legacy that you want to leave behind once it's all said and done? You know, do you just want to just go on the music route, or what other ventures did you want to do?
When you mean legacy, like with my music, or just me as a person?
As a person, at the end of the day.
Regardless of what I do with my life, I definitely plan on making music for as long as I possibly can. But just being passionate about what you do, taking pride in what you do, and working every day, making it a step towards just improving yourself in any aspect. So just the legacy I want to leave is find something you're passionate about and fight like hell to make that passion a reality.
I like that's so true. With anything that you want to do, it just doesn't matter what it is. Like you said, find that passion and keep going. That's dope. Whenever you get to a certain level that you want to get to, do you plan to stay here in Dallas, or where do you plan to move, or what's your plans with that?
I would like to stay here in Dallas because solely because I'm familiar with it. It's where that's where I grew up. But honestly, I would move wherever opportunity was. If I got signed by a label out in LA, I would move to LA. Or like in Nashville, that's where I'd go. Honestly, just wherever the opportunity was, that's where I would go. But when it comes to my personal preference, I would like to stay in Frisco, Dallas area.
Got you. That's dope because we were talking about how the Dallas music scene, there's different scenes and stuff like that, but like it doesn't seem like we all work to get everybody to that level.
Right.
Especially being as big as we are. I think like the fourth biggest metroplex behind, New York, LA, and I think Chicago is ahead of us too. But like we're so big that it's like, why not support the artists that we have here and build them up?
It's like what you said earlier. You can't succeed if you're at war. If you're trying to make it and you have enemies, that's not gonna phase well for you.
Yeah, that's so true. You can't build when you're at war, and it seems like that's a big issue here in Dallas. And hopefully we build up our own artists and then get you to a certain point where you're able to give other opportunities to other artists and collab with them or whatever.
Right. Make friends, make best friends, make connections. So in the future, because you never know, if the person you're talking to is going to be the next big thing, and if you're an enemy with that person, you can consider your career gone. But
that is true because man, I tell this story all the time, but it's crazy to think about because I went to this Juicy J concert,
right,
and he had broken his leg, so he was on a crutch, and then he was on a wheelchair as well. And then Juicy J was doing his thing, this and that. And then I'm like, yeah, dope concert. And then halfway through the show, he had a little, what is it called? Admissions or whatever. It's like, halfway through the show, other artists come in and sing while he goes in.
Right.
That's what he has to do.
Oh, like opening acts and stuff?
Oh, no, this was like halfway through the show.
Okay.
Because I guess, they probably had to switch out whatever. Or he couldn't do it and stuff like that. So, and they bring out this artist. And halfway through him singing, I'm like, oh, shit, he bumps, this and that. I'm like, that's dope. And then the host, he comes out, he's like, all right, guys, so that was Post Malone, up-and-coming artist from Grapevine. Make sure y'all check him out. Oh, that's cool. 6 months later, bro, booming everywhere. White Iverson's booming. Bro, it's crazy. You just don't know who that artist is going to be to blow up.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you treat everybody like crap, you burn bridges like crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. I forget Post Malone's from Grapevine. Here locally. I always forget that. But yeah, that's crazy, man. You never know who's going to blow up next. Yeah, exactly. You never do.
So what do you want to let the people know before we head out? How could they reach you? Streaming stuff and all that good stuff.
Yeah. You can find me on all platforms. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Deezer, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, all that stuff. You can find me under my name, Will Hawthorn. Hawthorn spelled Hawthorn. And yeah, you can also find me on YouTube with my artist channel, same name. You can find me on Instagram at Will Hawthorn. It's all my name.
Got you.
Yeah.
That's dope. And hopefully, by next time you come here, we see some music video. We talk to you about performances and stuff like that.
For sure.
I like to see the growth within the artist. So that's dope to hear.
For sure.
And best of luck to you, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
For sure.
Appreciate it.
No problem. All right, guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, get notified whenever we drop new content. And we out. Peace.
See ya.
That boy Will.
Yes, sir.